How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling okay. I'm really relaxed.
And do you think that because everything that we had was due by the end of last week, that it feels very, very fresh, very nice?
Yes, it does. I feel like I can finally just do whatever I want. I'm gonna do a bunch of baking this week.
Yes.
And binge watching and reading. I'm gonna even take up knitting. I'm going to do so much.
I love that for you. I baked the night before last night, and it was so refreshing because I hadn't done it in 3 months. I saw so many videos of high school students and college students just being like, finals are over, and I just felt like, yeah, I relate to that so much. Everything is done for now.
I'm very happy. Like, school is over with, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And since we basically were able to finish all of our assignments, we got to do some stuff together, like binge watch TV.
I'm very excited for that, yes.
And what did you think of the last TV show that we binged together?
I think I'm pretty excited for the next season. Like, I started out hate watching it in a kind of way, but then I really got invested into the show.
And the show being?
My Life with the Walter Boys.
We did not think we would like it at first, right? Or we thought we did, but then in the first episode we were reconsidering that.
I think we knew it was going to be in some kind of way. Like, we predicted some things from the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then as we started, we were like, oh, maybe this isn't a good show, but we, still continued watching it.
I think the reason why we pulled through was because of the TikTok spoilers that kind of incentivized us to continue.
I think this is a reason why, TV shows need to hire fan editors. Because they make, they're the reason I watch shows. The second I watch one, I'm very interested.
Same. And it's a lot more, I think you just invest a lot more because you want to see that scene or whatever it's happening is going to happen later.
Mm-hmm. It's real, the edits are all really good.
They are. Would you ever want to become a video editor, for shows? Because I think about it, but I never do it.
This is a funny story, but when I was 11 or 12, I made this YouTube for edits. I got rid of it now, but it was very fun while it lasted.
Did you make any edits?
I did. I made 2.
Of what?
I made one of the Queen's Gambits, and then the other one, it was a Gilmore Girls one.
Parmita, you have to show me.
Oh no, I got rid of those.
So don't you have the video still or something?
I'm pretty sure I deleted them.
Why would you do that?
Because I was 11 or 12.
That's so much talent to be editing at 11 or 12.
It wasn't good though.
Sometimes I see a show and I see a scene and I'm like, wow, I have the perfect idea for a good edit here. But I don't have that talent and I don't have the time to devote myself to making a really good edit.
When I was getting into editing, I was doing it with my friends, and we were like, oh, let's make an edit of the show. And it was really fun. We were looking for clips. We had good songs for it. It was very fun.
That does sound fun. And you didn't use CapCut, right? It was you edited it all originally?
I used something else. I used Video Leap. It's like CapCut. You just put in the clips and it does some things for you. Oh my gosh, I made this Draco Malfoy edit. I never published it, but I had it in my photo camera roll.
This is during the Draco Talk era?
Yes.
Wait, I love that. Do you still have it?
I'm pretty sure I deleted it.
You should have kept it for old time's sake.
I did 2 songs for that one. I did a mix. It was so funny.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
I also did a Jughead one in my Riverdale era.
I can't believe you deleted this. I need to see this. You can't just say that and then not show me.
Oh my gosh, I think my mom uploaded all my photos from my camera roll into her laptop because I had so much, right? So I think if I didn't delete them, they're now uploaded onto the laptop.
Wait, so if your mom was going through her, she would see your Draco Malfoy.
She would see my Draco Malfoy.
That's so funny.
I'm pretty sure I have a few more edits too. I have a Damon Salvatore one.
You do?
I have a Delano one, actually, if that's more accurate.
That sounds so... You have to show me. Okay, after this, we should see if we can find it.
Okay. It's very funny. I really like the Damon Salvatore one.
I'm just reeling from this information. I need to see this.
I tried making a Supergirl one too, but I gave up on it.
Is it hard to edit?
I think It takes quite a while just to make like a 3-minute video.
This is not editing. Well, I don't know if it counts, but I made a lyric video for a rewrite of Antihero by Taylor Swift that me and my friend made, and I made a lyric video for that. And it was so hard because you had to match up the lyrics with what was going on and like the images and the videos, and it was horrible, and I never wanted to do it again. So that put me off from any video editing ever. But I love CapCut because you just put in like a photo and it does all the work for you, the templates. And it makes me feel like I'm a real video editor, even though I'm not. I'm nowhere near that.
You could be like an advertiser at CapCut.
Thank you. You could be an advertiser for, what was it, Video Leap?
Yes. I saw this like TikTok thing about how to make edits, and it was like, oh, using Video Leap, and then I was really excited because I wanted to be like an editor.
I love that. You should have continued. You could have been one of those TikTok video editors if you had continued from then.
This is really funny. I think it just takes too much work though.
That's true. But was it an edit that got you to tell me that we should watch the show together, or was it?
No, I saw it on Netflix and I was like, this is exactly the type of show I would watch, and I'm pretty sure Santa would watch this too.
Yes. I saw that it was coming on Netflix, and when you told me about it, I like went back to go look at it, and I was like, wow, this seems like something that we would have a lot to say.
Yes, and it was the perfect motivation for us to do well on our tests and projects because we had so many that week. So
oh yeah, I think we saw one, and then we were like, okay, or two, after we finish all this we can reward ourselves with another episode.
Yeah, it wasn't a very consistent schedule.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess move on to the actual plot.
Yes. Okay, so today we wanted to talk about the Netflix show My Life with the Walter Boys. And to start us off, Santa will be introducing the plot.
So, the story is basically about this girl named Jackie Howard from Manhattan. I think she's either 15 or 16. And she actually loses her family, unfortunately, and she has to move in with the Walters, who is this family in Colorado who has like 7 sons or something. And then she's just trying to navigate her new life there, as well as, you know, everything that's going on in her life and the experiences and the people she meets. And the show is just kind of about that. It's actually based on a book, right?
Yeah, and that book, it was based off of a Wattpad. So it's like quite a journey from Wattpad to novel to Netflix adaptation.
I think because I kind of wrote a Wattpad book.
Oh
but
my gosh.
I never finished. I know, we all have our pass. You have your editing pass, and I have my Wattpad writing pass.
We're such a match.
Yes. So I feel like this was probably my dream back when I did write, like to have my Wattpad. I didn't even finish a chapter. I wrote like 1 chapter. To have that become a book and then a Netflix show that you could make edits of, like it all. That would have been great for me.
I could have like done the marketing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should continue with that so I can like get motivation to start editing again.
This was back when I was like 12. I think I wrote it intending to post it on Wattpad, but it never left the Google Doc. So.
Well, we sort of at like the same age. 12 years old. Like that's when we both got into our own eras of creative like art. I don't know.
Yes. Wait, this is so funny.
It is.
Okay, wait, what were we talking about?
Oh, we were talking about the plot.
And I think the writer was Ali Novak, and she published the official book in 2014.
Yeah, and it says that the love triangle, it was actually inspired by the Salvatore brothers in The Vampire Diaries.
Oh yeah, we saw an article about that, right?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I can see it for Damon and Cole, who we'll get into later, but I feel like Stefan and the other brother, I don't see the match as much.
I agree.
What about you?
I can really see Cole and Damon, like, in so many ways. But then, I don't know, Alex and Stefan, I guess all they have going on is, like... Wait, no, they're not the younger brothers, right? Because is Damon the older brother? Is he?
I think he is the older brother.
Okay, never mind. So they have the younger brother thing going on, but that's all I see, honestly.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I feel like, is there a lot of media inspired by The Vampire Diaries? I feel like it's had such an impact that there must be.
Is Conrad inspired? Like, from The Summer I Turned Pretty?
I can see it, but I feel like Damon is more humorous than Conrad, whereas Conrad just kind of broods all the time.
That's really... Is he like Jeremiah, then?
I feel like... I don't see it... I can see it, but also I can't see it. But I like Jeremiah, the actor. He played young Damon, right?
Yes.
So
he
like,
did.
I feel like by that logic, you can kind of see it. But like, I don't know. What do you think?
I think I can see their characters pretty similar because like they both think they can get their like brother's girl, right?
Oh yeah,
And then they're both like very humorous and they like play around a lot.
that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Have you seen those TikToks where it's like, I forgot how the trend goes, but it's like, history always repeats itself, and it's like the Vampire Diaries, The Summer I Turned Pretty, what else? Oh, Twilight, this show, the My Life with the Walter Boys, and other stuff.
I've seen so many, and it's also like we've been here before, like from the Harry Styles thing.
Yeah.
And then it shows the previous show. Yeah.
I think that it's really interesting because did you mention that it was written by the author when she was 15?
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, that's so young.
I think it's very impressive that she was able to get that to, I don't know if it got published when she was 15 as a book, but like if it got published pretty soon after she wrote it, that's really impressive for a 15-year-old.
It is. And to think that could have been you if you had published your Wattpad.
I doubt it would have been that successful because I had no writing skills whatsoever, but I can hope, I can dream.
Yes. Maybe you should do a new one now just to see where it would like go.
Only if you take up editing and really follow your TikTok editing dream.
I'll make a deal with you. If you start, I will as well.
Okay. I feel like neither of us have time, so I'm not going to do
I
that to
agree.
us right now.
I
But
agree.
maybe one day. Maybe one day.
One day, yes.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting just talking about the origin because I feel like you can. This is not meant to be in a snarky way. I think when you are 15, you have a certain view of the world. And I think that you can see that the author's views were there in this show. Does that make sense?
I
Like
can
with
see.
editing and stuff. Yeah.
I can see exactly what you mean because like, we're going to get on this later as well, but the show you can kind of see its Wattpad origins shining through.
Yes, I feel like if I was like 12 or 13, I also would have written, or even maybe now, maybe I would still write out high school to be that way. Inserting characters and stuff.
Especially the supportive best friends.
Oh, yeah.
I can just see the whole plot like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can get into our own opinions on characters and just like who the characters are.
Yeah. So, since the show kind of starts off with Jackie moving in with the parents and them taking her in, what do you think about them?
George and Catherine were the parents, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have much to say. I got a bit annoyed later on because I feel like the parents just had one plot and it didn't really expand on it. They just kept repeating it, and it was about how the family needs to get more money. So that annoyed me a little bit because it was never really expanded on. They just kept repeating that same motto over and over. What about you?
The dad continuing to like bringing it up every single episode. It's like, I don't know, it starts out with like, oh, Catherine, we're in deep trouble. And then he goes on to explain their financial troubles. And then he's like, we're seriously in deep waters, Catherine. And then the next episode, it's still, we're dangerously low on money. And it keeps continuing, but they never do anything. So it's like every single episode is that same message being replayed.
I think also for the parents, I think the fact that they had, how many kids? Like 7? The fact that all these kids are so close in age is like, it's like, wow, like, you must have had these kids within 1 year or 2 years of each other for most of them.
I don't know if it's 7 or 10, but like, all of these kids in the show, and then they decide to take in Jackie as well. Okay, Santa's just searching it up right now. How many children do the Walters have?
Okay, there's a character guide.
Okay.
So I'm going to look at this.
I keep forgetting Will is their kid for some reason.
Oh, wait. So apparently 2 of the brothers, they're twins, and they are the Walters' cousins.
Oh, okay. That makes so much sense.
We thought they were adopted, but this makes more sense.
Yes, it kind of does, actually.
Kind of. Because I remember he said, like, Uncle George, right? So I thought maybe they were adopted by, and they were just calling him Uncle, but that makes more sense. Wait, still, though, because...
That's
youngest-
11.
Yeah.
That's 11 kids. With Jackie.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it is like 10 kids without Jackie.
Okay, so Benny is 5, Parker is 9, Jordan 12, Nathan 14. This is where it gets really close. So 12, then 14, and then the cousins who are 16. Alex, who was also 16. Danny and Cole, who were also twins and are 17. Will, who is 21. And Jackie, but she's not necessarily their daughter.
Okay, so Jackie's 15. Wait, so both Alex and Cole, they're older than her.
But they're only a year apart, Alex and Cole. And I feel like maybe just Cole looks older for his age and Alex looks younger, but they don't look 1 year apart only.
I think Alex, like, the casting for Alex was really good.
I agree. I think he looks like he is 16 as well.
Yes. For Cole, I could tell it was like an adult playing a teenager role.
For Will and Haley, to focus on them specifically, so Will and his fiancée Haley, what were your thoughts on them?
I thought Haley was really pretty.
She was.
I think the whole Will and Haley plot, I was really, like, annoyed with how much attention it was receiving from the show because they seemed to want to focus on them. And I guess it makes sense. My life with the Walter boys, there's, like, more than just 2, so I guess they have to have some kind of light on Will. I just don't see why.
I get what you mean. Did you like their plot was basically just about them being too poor for a wedding, right? Like that was the basis of the plot, and then Will going through an existential crisis, right?
Yeah, and he was overworking himself to try to find more money for the wedding.
Right.
Because he started off with those retail jobs, but it wasn't working out for him. So then he moved on to Lark After Dark or something.
Oh yeah. What were your thoughts on that?
I could see his point of view pretty well, I guess. He wanted to, like, work for money, but if it was just for working for money, I would have been okay with that. But he wanted a wedding. I think that was really unrealistic. If you can't, like, I don't know, there was a line in the show, but it was like, oh, if we can't even afford, like, a table, how are we going to afford a wedding? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can't. Why are you even thinking about this?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I remember the fiancé, I think this got resolved, but I don't remember how it got resolved. She was like, Will, I'm only 25 or something. I don't want to necessarily get married. I want to travel the world and explore. And I was like, wow, she doesn't even want to get married that badly. Why are you doing all this?
I agree. I think they shouldn't have pushed that whole marriage idea upon them so quickly.
I agree. So speaking of the next sibling.
Yes, now we're going to be focusing on Alex. What do you think about him?
I feel like I said this to you a lot when we were watching it together, but I feel like he's a very realistic depiction of a teenage boy. Like, I could see a lot of his mannerisms and the way he talks and the way he acts. I can see a lot of actual teenage boys acting in a similar manner.
I really agree. His outfits, too, I feel like that's quite realistic. I can see people in our class wearing that. And then his whole, like, awkwardness, his, like, longing stares at Jackie, I feel like that's very realistic as well.
Yeah, I think that I don't know, I feel like his actor did a good job portraying a 16-year-old boy.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. I think all the shows we're used to, it's a lot of adults playing kids, and we can understand that. But with him, I honestly thought he was a teenager.
Wait, is he?
No, he's not. He's 21 or something.
Oh, he's 21?
Or 22.
He looks like he could play someone younger.
Yes. They did a good job of casting for that.
They did. Did you find his character, like, what did you think? Did you like his character?
I started out really liking his character, but then I got annoyed at how clingy he was throughout the show. And very possessive, too. I think Jackie was there for, like, 2 weeks or something, and then he's already getting all these ideas in his head.
Yeah, I remember I saw a lot of comments on TikToks about Alex, like, saying similar things, and I kind of agree as well. I feel like he, as, like, I just feel like you know how, like, for the summer I turned pretty? How Conrad, people who are Team Conrad, they're always saying, like, Jeremiah is so clingy, Jeremiah never leaves her alone. And personally, I don't agree with that. But I think Alex, later on the show, he becomes what people who are Team Conrad think of Jeremiah. Like, it's not just like, oh, people who are Team Cole think that of Alex. I think he is what people who are Team Cole think Jeremiah is. Does that make sense?
Sorry, my brain was like lagging through what you said. But I can kind of see where you're going with this. Yeah. I guess now that I've seen how annoyed I am at Alex, I can see why people don't like Jeremiah. But Jeremiah isn't like that. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think that perception is the reality for Alex.
Yes. That perception definitely is the reality.
Moving on to, I guess, speaking of Alex, we should move on to his almost like counterpart, I would say, in the show.
Yes.
Cole.
I feel like it's not fair that they're counterparts. Because, I don't know. It's a whole... They seem like two completely different people. And it's like Cole, who's very charming on that one side, and then Alex is... and his realistic awkwardness for a teenager.
I think Cole is like the expectation for like a kind of love interest in a show like this, and Alex is like the reality. Not in like a bad way, but like there's someone in real life like Cole, right?
No, maybe that's where the Wattpad aspect comes in. The author thought, oh, Alex is a guy that he's similar to a guy I already know, right? He's a realistic portrayal of a teenager. But then the author wants something more, and then she brings up Cole, like this image of Cole.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would be thinking if I was writing this.
That makes sense. And I feel like you can kind of tell through the way he acts and his mannerisms that definitely would have been something that I could see the author really liking.
Yeah, so, I mean, starting off with how he was in an on and off relationship with Aaron, what did you think about that?
I mean, at first Aaron was kind of mean to Jackie in the beginning, so at first I was like, oh, Aaron is really mean, I hope that things don't work out. But then we learned more about her, and I felt more bad for her, because you could see that he was kind of leading her on, and it wasn't necessarily a mutual thing for how casual their relationship was. So I did feel bad. What did you think? And especially about like Olivia being like the best friend that he cheated on her with, kind of.
Oh yeah, so like Aaron and Olivia, they were best friends. And then Olivia, at one point in the show, she has like, I don't know, one night stand with Cole. And then she doesn't tell Aaron about it, right?
Yeah.
And it's because he's like, I don't know, Cole, I guess he's okay with that kind of thing. But then Aaron, I really, like you said, when the show started, she was not like a girl's girl to Jackie at all. Then she started off being really jealous. And I didn't see why, because Jackie was just there. Like, she introduced herself, and Aaron's already mad. But then as the show progresses, you can kind of see her backstory more. And I ended up really feeling some empathy for her and some compassion. So I wanted her to have a good, happy ending.
Me too. I think also you can see the Wattpad part come in when people talk about quote-unquote the Cole effect. That made me laugh a lot.
The Cole effect. A whole episode was titled after that. I was also laughing at that. I mean, I feel like it's realistic to an extent about how a relationship is pretty consuming for the people who are involved. So I guess Erin is like, she really wants to keep that relationship going.
Yeah, and in the show they show Cole to be very charming and stuff. So I guess the Cole effect does make sense for him. But it always makes, like, that, you know that one scene, I think it's in the first or second episode, where she goes to school and she doesn't know where to sit at lunch, and then he comes up to her and, like, makes her skip the lunch line, and then everyone in the cafeteria stops talking and just stares at them, like, Cole Walters is talking to a nobody girl, and that made me laugh a lot. I was laughing so much.
That would never happen in our cafeteria, like, or our school.
We don't even have, like, a Cole Walter at our school for that to happen in the first place.
No, nobody is important enough in our school for that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe because they're in, like, a small town in Colorado, maybe everyone knows each other, so it makes sense that the school is smaller, so he's more well-known, whereas our school is bigger, and that's why. But I feel like that's not a fully good reason for that.
You're right. I can see that making sense since it is like a whole different setting in like a rural area. But moving on to like Cole's actual personality, what did you think?
I'm still not entirely sure. Like, I did like his personality later on, but I feel like a lot of it is just like snarky comments. Not snarky, but like, you know, like Dave and Salvatore humor, sarcastic like comments.
Yeah.
Just, I feel like his personality is just a lot of that, and then being angsty.
Yes. I have to admit, like, I really started liking him in the later seasons because he was quite, like, romantic, you know? And I was getting Dave and Salvatore vibes from him.
Yes, I think he got a lot better later on in the show.
Yes, but at the start, I really didn't like how he was treating Erin and, like, also sleeping with her best friend, Olivia.
I wish that because he mentioned how, like, the year before he had a football injury and that basically ruined his entire life. I feel like we should have talked about that more. I feel like it just randomly came up and it could have been connected more to what he was going through. I think he did that a good job later, but in the beginning and middle, I feel like it was missing.
I feel like they were trying to implement that, but it was just coming off as random, and then they leave behind that plot really quickly.
I also think that I feel like it's just not fair because Cole looks like he could be 25 and Alex looks like he could be in any range from like 13 to 17. I feel like it's not fair, like you said, to pit them against each other because Cole just looks so much older and it's like a bit uncomfortable in my opinion because isn't Jackie 15?
I know. So Cole's also really tall.
Like, he is.
Jackie's really short in comparison.
And so is Alex.
Yes, definitely.
I feel like that's one of the reasons why people might not also be Team Alex, just because he looks very young. And I think I've told you this, right? I feel like for people who are older watchers, not like that much older, but like adults, it's probably more comfortable for Cole than for Alex.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since we've talked about the love interest of the love triangle, we should be getting into the actual subject of the love triangle.
Jackie.
Yes, Jackie.
Jackie's actress is so pretty.
She's
is so pretty.
And we both saw her on My Block.
Yes. I did not recognize her because I think she plays a very different character on My Block than she does on this show.
It's a huge range.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
What did you think about her in the first episode? Like when we get introduced?
The first episode, I felt like she was the classic YN girl. Very smart. Her whole tragic family backstory. Moving to a new town. And then, I guess, I could feel myself being her in that first episode. Because she didn't have much of a personality. It was just going through everything.
That makes sense.
Going through all the motions. So, yeah. And then as it kind of progressed, she had more of a personality. But I didn't like the whole back and forth thing.
Back and forth between what?
Like for the love triangle.
Oh.
Because at one point she got in a relationship with Alex, but then she had these moments with Cole. So, I don't know. I don't like that whole cheating trope.
I get what you mean. I agree. I feel like I liked her character more as the show progressed, but I feel like I think it's just very funny how she also wants to go to Princeton, like every other Netflix main character, like Davy from Never Have I Ever. And did anyone in Ginny and Georgia want to go somewhere famous? I don't remember.
I don't know. Ginny was like smart though, right? She wanted to go to somewhere good. I don't know about Princeton.
Yeah. I'm sure she'll go to Harvard or something.
Yeah. Also that girl from Cinderella, Princeton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because her dad was talking about this place where, I don't know, princes went. I don't know. The whole plot line.
Yes, I thought that was very funny.
Yes.
Do you remember, like, really early in the show, I think she talks to the guidance counselor, and she's like, oh, yeah, I don't want to think about what happened to me, about, like, the unfortunate passing of my family, so I'm putting all that work into my academics instead. And I felt like they could have explored that, like, her pushing away, like, those feelings just to focus on herself academically, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they could have explored what happened to her a bit more.
I agree. If they wanted to be more realistic with the show, they shouldn't have made Jackie's character, like, completely dismiss her whole family dying after one single episode. Like, she barely showed emotion that, like, they completely just cut it off to her moving to a new place.
I think the teapot scene was good, though, of her remembering her sister.
Yeah. I just wish they did more with that trauma, though. It's so overlooked.
Yes. Did you like her fashion, her style?
I remember as we started the show, we had high hopes because her mom was a fashion designer, and then we saw we were wrong to have high hopes. But then I think towards the end it gets much better.
Maybe it's like symbolic, because in the beginning her outfits they're I don't know how to describe her outfits in the beginning.
I think it's teenager interview chic.
Yes. It's very, like, formal, and it just kind of shows that she's, like, closed up, but, like, and, like, closed off from the family and stuff. And she can't let herself find humor or find, happiness, truly. And then later on, you can see she's letting good influences into her life, and her style evolves as a result.
That's very good.
Thank you. I think it's, like, English class coming to my head.
I also think because she was dressing like kind of someone older than her age, and then as the show kind of progresses, she starts wearing more casual clothes. It shows how she's like, she's not trying to take on more than her, like more than she can bite off, like that thing, and then she kind of, like you said, opens herself up and starts living her life like a teenager should be doing.
That's really good. I think also, I think when she's talking to her uncle who comes to visit her, she's like, there's nothing left for me in New York. So I wonder if, she said, right, all her friends started excluding her in New York after her parents passed away. But then she found, like, good friends here who would probably not do that. So maybe she found a more supportive system of friends as well.
That's very true. I felt very bad for her after hearing the part about her friends excluding her.
Speaking of her new friends, what did you think of Grace, Skylar, and are we missing anyone? I think Grace and Sky were her main friends, and then also Kylie was friends with other people as well.
Yeah. I think Grace, I kind of liked her. She, like we both said, she reminded us of Max from Ginny and Georgia, but in a better way.
I agree. I think she was very entertaining, but at times I was like, how can you be so oblivious to what is going on in the room? I think it was very funny, though.
Yes. And then Skylar. Oh, I was very annoyed with him for rejecting Nathan those first few times and calling him, like, I don't know, too much or something for writing that song for him.
Yes. I feel like also, though, Nathan is a bit at fault because, not at fault, but he saw that Skylar was not interested and then continued to do it. But then Skylar also should have not been as dismissive as he was, like you said.
That makes sense. And then Kylie, she wasn't exactly, like, Jackie's friend. She was more so Alex's friend, but she was friends with Grace and Skylar, so it was a bit complicated. Kylie, I felt very bad for her. It was the classic, oh, I like this guy from our childhood, but he doesn't know. And then he's moving on.
About Alex, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of how Alex treated Kylie? Because she liked him. I think we could all tell that she liked him, but he was totally oblivious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see how Alex wouldn't have known, because in some ways Kylie doesn't make it obvious. I don't know, if this was like a high school setting, I could see how Alex could be oblivious, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But I did feel really bad for Kylie because she was always there for him.
She was, and he would always just make her this third wheel for him and Jackie once they got together.
That's true. Like the board game episode where he brought Jackie into their like traditional board game.
I feel like this is the perspective of like the girl best friend. When I feel like this could be a show in of itself. Like Kylie could have been focused on more, and that would have been very interesting.
I really agree. But honestly, like if you were in a relationship and the guy had a girl best friend, would you feel comfortable with that?
I mean, if it was Kylie, then yes. But like,
would you? If Kylie liked your boyfriend, would you feel comfortable with that?
Well, I assume Jackie doesn't know, right?
She doesn't, but
I feel like Jackie and Alex are equally oblivious to a lot of things, which is very funny.
Yes. But I mean, I would feel bad for Jackie knowing that like Kylie likes Alex. And It honestly looked like she was about to kiss him when he was like drunk in that one episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that.
I think it's interesting because does everyone else know? Because do you remember when Cole was like, "Oh, everyone knows that you have feelings for Alex, Kylie, or something." So is it just Alex and Jackie who are unaware, or is it just Cole being very observant?
I think Grace is also unaware, and then Skylar. I feel like he doesn't really care. Cole, I'm surprised by how observant he was.
That's the David Salvatore part coming in. What about Paige, the girl who basically ruined Alex and Cole's, not ruined, but like she was a part of why they were not close anymore.
Yeah, she was like the fuel to the fire, starting off everything. Paige, I think she was just a troublemaker from the start, and I didn't like her. And all those comments she was saying about Jackie and how she like won the lottery when her parents died.
That was horrible to say.
Yeah.
And I feel like the other siblings, they didn't get a lot of screen time, but I liked them. I liked Isaac and Danny and the other ones. Yeah, he wasn't that important.
Yeah, not really. I really like Danny.
Me too.
He was the sweetest, and I'm so happy he got into Juilliard. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
I was so happy as well. I really felt for him, and I was so happy he achieved his dream.
Yes, he was working hard all the time, so...
Yes. And even though I feel like Skylar's random feelings for Nathan were a bit, like, very, like, randomly inserted into the story, I'm happy that Nathan was able to get his happy ending.
Yes. Nathan seems like a very sweet character overall.
Yeah, so I think... Oh, do we have anyone else we should talk about?
Oh, right. Erin. Well, we already kind of briefly talked about her in terms of Cole, but she's an independent person, so we should talk about her herself. What did you think?
I liked how they fleshed out her character later on, and I really felt for her. And I really hope that she is able to get her mother, not get her mother's approval, but realize that she doesn't need her mother's approval because her mother was just really harsh in comparing her to Jackie. I hope she realizes that she can make her own, like, found family and not need that toxic behavior.
Yes, and I think she and Jackie would make good friends, so...
And I think they were starting to be later on, right?
Mm-hmm. And also in terms of her relationship with Danny, which kind of started developing. I'm very excited for that. He seems like the perfect person for her.
Yes, and he'll treat her well, unlike Cole.
Yes. Okay, now I guess since we've covered all the characters, we can move on to aspects of the show that we liked.
Yes. So for good things, did you have anything you wanted to start off with about the show?
We slightly mentioned this before, but Jackie's style at the beginning, I was really annoyed with it, especially since her mom was a fashion designer. So I was happy when she started loosening herself up and wearing more casual teenager clothes. What about you?
I was also really happy with that. And I liked how she expanded the colors she was wearing as well. I liked that a lot.
Yes, I think blue really suited her.
It does, especially, like, there's this one scene where she's picking flowers and she's wearing this blue dress and it's so pretty.
Yes, it's so nice.
I think also the awkwardness, especially through Alex, was portrayed very well. I feel like there were a lot of scenes where maybe the talking wasn't too accurate, but I think the mannerisms and the way Alex was talking, it very much reminded me of a real teenage boy.
Nathan also reminded me of a real teenage boy. When he started, like, eating that sandwich after, like, low blood sugar. I don't know, something that he said like that.
I think you mentioned just, like, the overall style of the show you liked, like, of the characters.
I think it was, like, realistic to have teenagers dress, I think. Yeah. What about you?
I agree. And I think that, well, I think it was really funny how for Cole, they kept giving him random opportunities to dress in little outfits for, like, no reason.
Yes, like his job with the car fixing whatever you call that.
He wore the car mechanic uniform two times, and we never saw it again. I thought that was so funny. Like, why was that there in the first place?
It was very funny, I agree.
Okay, I feel like we should have more good things to say, but I feel like this is one of those shows where you kind of like, you know it's kind of cheesy, but you're enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like for good things, everything we say could also count a bit in like the less good things, if that makes sense.
I agree, but it was an interesting show to watch. Like, I'll give them that. I'm very engaged.
Yes, it was very entertaining.
Yeah.
We'll definitely tune in if they make another season.
I hope they, like, make another season soon.
Me too. I hope it's not in like 3 years, like with most Netflix shows.
Yes. Now I guess we can focus on the bad parts of the show.
Or like, I guess like the less good. Same thing. But
So to start off, I think there was a lot of focus on the adults. Like, there was this guidance counselor in their school for Jackie and Alex and Cole and all of them. And she had such a plot going on. She was with this English teacher of theirs. And then at the very end of the show, she starts to have her own love triangle with Jackie's uncle, Richard.
I was confused because at least with all the other adults and the other side characters, they all connected to the main family or the main plot in some way. But the guidance counselor, she's just there. Like, she has no relation really to the plot. She's just a friend of Will's fiance, Haley. And like, I don't see why that makes her such an important person to explore.
Yes, I really don't want her to have a lot of time in the next season with this love triangle, because it seemed like it was ending off on a very dramatic note.
I think it's really weird too, because she and Jackie's uncle start bonding in like the last 15 minutes of the final episode. And then in the last 5 minutes, the English teacher comes back. So I don't know where this was supposed to go, because Jackie's uncle was also like, at the end, after he was talking to the guidance counselor, he was like, you'll probably see me a lot more around here. So it was probably because he wanted to see her, right? But then, why did this all happen in 10 minutes? Why did they build this love triangle in the last 10 minutes of the show? That's my question.
I know, I don't think it's realistic to do that, because you talk with someone for 10 minutes and suddenly a whole love triangle is being created, whereas the one person, the English teacher, who was like setting off to go to London without her, they've had a whole relationship, and then he comes back. Like, why not just stay with him?
Yeah, I think also the show just had too many characters, so we didn't get a lot of focus on anyone in particular. So, I know it was based on a book, but I feel like we talked about the guidance counselor, they could have cut that out, and they could have given more screen time to other parts. But I think for us, as teenagers, the adult part was just not that enticing, because it was just a repetition of what we said earlier about them just being poor, and it was like, okay, do something about it. Why are we just repeating it for no reason?
Yes, and also, I think we were both rooting kind of for Cole and Jackie.
Yeah.
So the fact that they only had around, 2-minute scenes once every 30 minutes, that was really frustrating.
It was, and it was always to cut back to the most bland, unimportant plot about the adults, or like Lark After Dark or something.
Yes.
I feel like this is also a bit unavoidable when adults are making a show about teenagers, but there was some cringiness, because some of it was just like, this is not how it works at all.
Yes, like, hey there, New York. That was Cole's nickname for Jackie.
I think the Wattpad 15-year-old author part really came out there.
I could definitely see it from that. In that one scene where he's introduced and he's climbing out of the pool with his, with his hair all wet. And then
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I feel like that was just so funny. Like, I think it's so funny of them for doing that.
Yes, it is.
I think also the way people talk was a bit strange.
This one line, I can still remember it. This is too complicated to focus on, so I'm going to focus on what I know best. Mitochondria. That was what Jackie said.
I was laughing as well. Like, that was so random, and she doesn't even become that studious later on in the show, so why did they add in all these lines to make it seem like she was so dedicated?
I wish they wouldn't have said mitochondria. At least also say something like, genetics, molecular biology. Why are they saying mitochondria? The powerhouse of the cell. I was expecting them to say that.
Because we're her age, and in our biology class, we don't talk about mitochondria at all. Like, we talk about it, but it's not like a whole thing that you study on its own.
Yeah. Anyways, that was just one line I thought was very funny.
Also, I think you mentioned this first, and I also really saw it, but the music aspects, or lack thereof.
Yes. Because for most shows, like especially The Summer I Turned Pretty, there were so many songs playing. And that helped us stay interested in the relationships and dynamics between the characters. But then this show, there was barely any music. And if there was, it started out like really light, and then it kind of comes in. And there were no songs that I knew.
Yeah, I think just like young, teenage-based shows in general, like Never Have I Ever, they also had songs. And we didn't necessarily know all of them, but they had music, they had some stuff. This show had like one song every 2 episodes or something.
Yes, I almost stopped watching the show because of this, but then I saw the edits with songs, and then those edits convinced me.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it once, but it's really awkward in some scenes because there's no music, and we're just expected to be more invested, but it's just awkward.
I suppose that's how it is in real life. Maybe if that's their goal, to try to make it as awkward as possible. They succeeded.
There was also, like, many tropes. Like, many, many, many tropes.
Yes, like the whole parents are poor thing, and then they have to sell off their lands. That came up, so we made that prediction.
In the first episode.
Yes, we were like, oh, we bet they're going to have this whole, oh, I had to sell my horses, or like, oh, I had to sell my land. And then that's exactly what ended up happening. They had this decision of selling their land. And then the guidance counselor getting her own love story with Jackie's uncle, and then Jackie with her studious academic thing going on, Cole and his whole older brother football, and then a lot of relationships, on and off thing with Aaron, and then finally, like, Alex with Kylie. Like, there was so much going on.
There was. I think one trope that I'm happy they kind of separated from was when the uncle comes to visit her, and he's like, oh, I think maybe she should come back to New York, but it's her choice. And they didn't make him evil, and I was happy, because I feel like the stereotypical thing to do would be to make him evil, and like one-sided. But no, he was very understanding of her decision.
Yes, I thought they were going to have his lawyers fight over them, and because they're so poor, they can't do anything about it.
That makes sense, I feel like.
I thought that's where they were going with it.
Maybe I'm dumb, but in the end, spoiler alert, she goes back to New York with her uncle. What prompted her to do that? Because she was, like, happily hanging out with the family and stuff, and literally the night before, at the wedding, the uncle is like, oh, she seems to have really found her place here. So what, did they explain? Maybe I just forgot. Did they explain what motivated her to just randomly go to New York after the successful wedding?
They didn't, but I think the main reason was because she was in a relationship with Alex, but then she goes ahead and kisses Cole. And then I guess that's too complicated for her, so she runs away from her problems off to New York.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Because it's too complicated, so instead of focusing on mitochondria this time, she focuses on going back to New York, to her old life.
That is so quick, though, right? Because she does all this in, like, one night, and then she's just, like, off to New York. Do the parents even know? Like, she packed her bags, and she just left in the middle of the night without the parents knowing?
I think so, because nobody knew, right?
Wait, that's kind of bad of the uncle then, if he didn't give, or maybe she told him that she told them, but...
Well, I guess this can lead us to our predictions, because we've talked about the end of the show.
You're right.
So we can, yeah.
Oh, wait, I have one last thing to say, last thing. So Jackie's uncle is Ricky's dad in High School Musical, the musical, the series. And I couldn't unsee it. Like, whenever I saw him, I could not take him seriously as that character because all I saw was Ricky's dad, no matter how hard I tried.
That makes a lot of sense. For me, I forgot he was Ricky's dad. But then once you mentioned it, I couldn't get over it. It was very funny.
Yes.
Especially because of his, like, very different characters in each show.
For sure. So, do you have any predictions of what you think will happen if this show gets a season 2? We haven't read the book or anything, so we don't know if there's spoilers in there or anything like that.
Yeah, so I think since they ended it off with Jackie going back to New York, with Danny as well, I think one thing they can do with this is either Cole, he gets into his, like, truck or car or whatever, and he drives to New York to convince her to, like, go back to Colorado, or the parents, George and Catherine, they go, and then they leave Cole in charge to take care of the family, keep things running while that happens. What about you? Do you think that will happen?
That makes a lot of sense, and I think they'll probably go with that. I think I have another theory, but I feel like it's less likely. But I could see what happening is like she is in New York and then she has to come back to Colorado for some reason, and then when she comes back, it's like everything has changed, and she is like, "What's going on? Everyone is different. Like I don't know. Like a lot of stuff has changed from what she was originally seeing." And then she's kind of like, "Oh my gosh, what have I done?" Because her leaving has caused all of this.
I know you mentioned this before, but you think that Cole might get with somebody else, like a whole Jess and Rory thing where he's with a new girlfriend and then he's actually dedicated to her or something this time.
Yes, I could see Cole and Alex both like really hating her for leaving, or just being really sad. Like I could see it either way.
I hope they don't make Paige Cole's new girlfriend, because what if she goes through, because I remember she was trying to apologize to Alex in the last few episodes, so what if they have this whole character development for her and she ends up with Cole, and then when she comes back she finds Cole and Paige together,
and then Cole ends up like breaking it off with Paige for Jackie because he idolizes Jackie, like he does with Paige.
I hope they don't do that again. He already had Aaron. He doesn't need somebody else getting in this way.
Yeah, they don't start to get caught in the crossfire.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other predictions for the other characters, or like just in general, like the family being poor? Was that resolved? I don't remember if that got resolved.
I think in the last episode they were settled on selling the land, or were they not? I don't know, but they were like this really relying on that, I think, since they had a seller, an investor or something interested in buying the land.
Maybe. I think what will happen if they have a second season is, and I don't know if this is probably not what is going to happen, but I could see the seller, like, they're like, "Oh, okay, we're going to sell it," and they have to hire someone to come in and examine the land or whatever to be like, "Okay, whatever," and then they find, like, some sort of, like, special tree root or mineral, or I don't know, but they find something that makes land valuable, and they're like, "Okay, we're just gonna mine this or something," or like, I don't know, dig up this plant and then like sell it or something like that, or like they find like an old artifact in their basement and it's worth like so much money and they're just gonna use that or something. But I don't think they're gonna actually sell the land.
I feel like they're going to have some kind of fundraiser or something to prevent selling the land. Or Jackie will start it because she's so good at organizing, right?
That makes sense.
Or maybe Jackie's uncle, Richard, he's rich, right? So he would, I don't know, offer some money just to get them up and running.
I was a bit suspicious but Jackie's mom is a famous fashion designer, right? So Jackie, because, you know, her entire family unfortunately passed away, wouldn't all the money go to Jackie? So isn't she like a millionaire or something? Or maybe she can't access it until she's 18.
That's what I was
like,
gonna say.
Couldn't Richard maybe access it for her or something? Like, I feel like she could have done more because she's rich. And the family's obviously like super, super poor.
I wish they mentioned that, because they also have to take on all of Jackie's new expenses, right? So as well, like if she decides to stay in Colorado, who will pay for her like university tuition fee? Will that be her like Uncle Richard, or will they take on that too? So yeah,
that's a good point.
Do
you want to move on to what we want in season 2?
I think we have a lot of expectations.
I agree. So can I ask what your feeling was of the show as a whole?
Well, I think I really enjoyed watching it, even though it started off kind of like production-wise not the best it could have been. I think I was really engaged.
That's good. I saw a lot of people on TikTok saying that it was like a knockoff of The Summer I Turned Pretty, or it was the next version of The Vampire Diaries or whatever. What did you think about that?
I agree. It seems like it has less of a budget. But honestly, I kind of enjoyed it more than The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Something about The Summer I Turned Pretty was like really annoying me. Maybe it's like the indecisive character, Belly, because I really didn't like her. I disliked her a lot of times. And then the love interest, I liked Jeremiah, and I didn't like Conrad. And of course, Conrad is probably gonna end up with her. But for this one, I feel like I like the love interest of Cole better.
That makes sense. And I feel like this time also, because we were both rooting for Cole, and in The Summer I Turned Pretty, we were both rooting for Jeremiah, this time we might actually, like win. And
Yes.
who we're rooting for.
I don't like it when my love interest, like the one I want to end up with the character, is not endgame.
And I think for us, because we usually root for the same person, usually that person is not the one they end up with, right?
Yes.
I feel like there were a lot of parts of, like, I feel like I can't say, this is neat to say, I feel like no singular part of the show is exceptionally great, but it was very entertaining and I enjoyed it, even though I can't say, like, oh wow, the characters, they were all so incredible. Like, I can't say that, but I did enjoy it. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. Although I really like the wedding episode. I think that one was the best, like, filmed one.
I think also with Netflix teen shows, I feel like the first season, it is pretty cringy and cheesy, and it always gets a lot of backlash. But then the following seasons, they improve a lot. Like with Never Have I Ever, I remember the first season got a lot of backlash, and then it got better. The same with Ginny and Georgia.
Oh, yes, because everybody hated Ginny's character, but then I think they used that feedback, right? About how she was so ungrateful to Georgia, and then in the second season, they made her better.
Yeah, so I'm hoping this one follows a similar trend, and like the later episodes, you said it got better. So
I hope so as well.
But if they get a second season, I think they got renewed, right?
Yes, they did.
It'll be better.
Yes.
Is there anything else?
That's all I have to say. How about you?
I think so for me as well.
Okay, great.
We hope you enjoyed listening.
Yes, and please remember to tune in for our next episode on the next Tuesday.
Thank
Thank you.